I'm in the worst devastation I've ever seen in my life, but it's not just material destruction, it's a human tragedy too, and not just any victims. We're talking about children. The rescued children in Venezuela are reportedly being taken and sold on the website Vinted. We're going to investigate.
The children rescued from the rubble in Venezuela who disappeared. This was the reason I came. I didn't come as a rescuer, I didn't come to help. Of course, I helped as much as I could, but the main and most alarming reason I came to Venezuela was because of the reports of missing children, which was supposedly a myth, but sadly it isn't.
How are they
Stealing.
the children in Venezuela? Mom, this is horrible.
The situation for children in Venezuela is real.
There are missing children in Venezuela.
They kidnapped them, my friend.
Most likely to sell them. This is a complete mess. I've talked to parents of missing children, but there are also so many things I couldn't find. I couldn't verify, I couldn't find the evidence, and I'm really frustrated. I feel like I have nothing. Even though I've spoken with about 30 families whose children disappeared under the same circumstances, I can't link it to one man. I don't have a document or a video that specifically proves it. What I can tell you is that the Venezuelan government is so inept. It's so inept that when a child is rescued, the parents have no way to find them. So even if this thing about the gang of pedophiles and them kidnapping children isn't true, at the very least, what is 100% true is the ineptitude of this government that's separating families. Those who didn't die in the earthquake died because of negligence during the rescue, the ineptitude, and those who were rescued were separated from their parents because of bureaucracy and lack of communication. And some of them could have actually been stolen, and we have ads on this site 20 that say rescued child for sale. So, let's look at everything from the beginning.
The issue with the children doesn't stop.
Look at all the missing people there are.
However, some are exploiting this to sell the children.
How could that be possible?
That we are going to take away.
This with our hands.
One shovel for all of us.
Let's stop being indifferent to what's happening to children in Venezuela today.
The missing children in Venezuela, the ones rescued from the rubble, is that true? Yes, it's true. I've already spoken with the families, about 30 families, but I couldn't find concrete evidence of who's behind this either. But it has happened before during natural disasters in Venezuela and in other countries.
In the papers, 26. It hasn't shown up, no. You know, my brother, that pattern repeated itself. It's repeating now. Just like when there was the landslide in La Guajira in 91, in 98, 99. Yes. There was also that same pattern of missing children. The current loss of children also occurred during the Vargas landslide when heavy rain caused the entire Avila to collapse. I don't know if you heard about that time, though.
I read a little about it when I came.
Yeah, kids went missing like that back then too. There weren't social networks or anything like there are now.
It's very serious. Yes, I mean it.
Hey man, try to be careful.
Bring him here, so we can believe that there is a gang of criminal pedophiles who every time there is a hurricane, an earthquake, or a flood, go to that country to steal children. The bad news is that, unfortunately, I couldn't track them down, I couldn't find out who they are. I investigated, I talked to people, I made calls, I went to the places, I did as much as I could in the days I was here, and unfortunately, I'm sorry to inform you, I couldn't find any evidence of who is behind this.
We saw this report about these young people who were captured and charged with child abduction, but I doubt that they even know the person who asked them for the merchandise, so to speak. These kids are at the very bottom, they're the lowest on the food chain. They were just hired by someone who knows the client. They didn't even see the one who's doing this, they're just unfortunate collateral damage. They just told them, I'll give you this much, bring me a kid. And their need was so great it was in their blood, so they agreed and it ruined their lives. I don't think these kids were customers, much less members of the group that's doing this. They're simply the ones at the very bottom, the ones who feed on the leftovers. Those who are, like here in Mexico, where you can pay 10,000 pesos to make someone disappear, the person anonymously accepts the job and doesn't even know who they're working for. And the police catch him and the news says they caught so and so, but the real culprit, look, is at home, untouched. These Venezuelan guys accused of taking minors were simply paid and they obeyed. They don't even know the real PDFs at the top.
I can't give you a name, a group, nothing. The only thing I could clearly identify is the pattern. All these disappearances have the same modus operandi. We have a boy who is rescued from the rubble. Afterwards, he is taken to receive medical help, either by civil protection authorities or by paramedics. And then, when the parents look for this boy, he's nowhere to be found anymore. No one knows where he is. Helpless, afraid, desperate, they turn to social media, hoping that the general public will help them locate the boy. And people repost it. Then, in some cases, the boy is found safe, but the reposts keep happening.
But that's in the best case scenario, when people are sharing on Facebook a report about a child who has already been found, who is already with their parents. Unfortunately, in most cases, it's the complete opposite. It's posted that the child has already been found, that they're doing well, but no, they haven't been found. Imagine the desperation of a parent seeing a report on Facebook, a post that says, "This child was found and is already back with their family," and you're the parent still searching saying, "No, when did that happen? I'm still looking for them." The most grotesque and extreme case I saw is this one, the case of the father of 2 twin children who disappeared. People started spreading the claim on social media that they had already been found. Even an image made with artificial intelligence that showed the 2 children, twins, next to their father. When I saw this post, I had the father's WhatsApp and I wrote to him and asked, "Is it true that they're already back?" And he told me, no. And I saw the image, I put it in a search engine and it came up as created with artificial intelligence. Someone did this to gain followers, get views, and be able to monetize when Facebook detects that they have enough traffic. This is really low, very reckless, very inconsiderate. How far will people go?
And this is what makes the investigation very difficult. This investigation was very, very difficult. You have no idea how hard it has been to investigate this. Very difficult for many reasons. Number one, Venezuela, this country, does not have a database of missing people. There is no missing persons office I can go to and say, "Give me the names of all the missing people," so I can compare them with the thousands of people who have reported to me that they found someone. There are no numbers, there's nothing. In any country you go to where people are reported missing, no matter how devastating the natural disaster is, they have something. A database, a piece of paper, an office, something. Not here. You're investigating completely blind and you only depend on social media. People tell me, "Hey, I found this child," and people tell me, "Hey, my child went missing," and you make the effort to check if it's the same name because the government isn't doing it. And it's very sad, something I realized during the days I spent here investigating this. I probably have the largest database of names and reports, even bigger than the government itself. How is it possible that some idiot on the internet is more concerned about this and taking more proactive action than the government itself? And I'm not here to brag that I'm super influential. No, I'm here to complain that this government doesn't care about its civilian population. They're very poorly organized, very little action, very little of everything. Everything that matters at the crucial moment just isn't there. If you're getting hundreds of missing persons reports right away, you assign your best detectives to start working on the case. The people I spoke with, relatives of these missing persons, I asked them, who has come to ask you for information? And in many cases, sadly, I was the first and the only one. How can this be possible? I spoke with about 30 families and they all tell me the authorities nothing. Nothing. This gives me a lot. Sadness, anger, helplessness, secondhand embarrassment. It makes me feel everything. It makes me feel everything.
This Venezuelan activist is the one managing the messages for the father of the twins. She is on the ground reporting without fake news. If you want to keep up with these stories, follow her. Here are her social media accounts. She is the one who offered me the crucial help I needed for this investigation.
We all know there was this tragedy in Venezuela. Afterwards, since I'm working on the Epstein files, I make a lot of videos where I talk about what I found in my Epstein investigation. I went to Chihuahua. There I found a link between Epstein's circle and the girls who disappeared in Ciudad Juarez. So, I already have some experience in this kind of investigation, and I have a personal hatred toward pedophiles and those who hurt children. Then I started investigating Vinted, this place, this website where children are being sold disguised as toys. You see the ad that says doll, toy, stuffed animal, and when you look at it, it's a child. It says 12 years old, 80 centimeters newborn, things like that. And thousands of people started sending me thousands and thousands of reports saying they'd also found children for sale here. And then among all the things they sent me a toy for sale, a toy that said rescued stuffed animal from Venezuela. And it set off huge alarm bells for me. So I put up this someone in Venezuela had their child rescued after being rescued, and I was horrified to see that within minutes I had hundreds of reports from people telling me yes. So I decided to take a flight here to Venezuela to see what's going on. I said, I'm sure there's a group of collaborators behind this, some kind of ring of sickos, and by talking to all the witnesses, maybe I can get somewhere. Arriving in Venezuela, airport staff asked my purpose, and I said I was there as a tourist. They checked my phone, of course, my conversations. They didn't check my social media, they only checked my WhatsApp, my text messages, and Facebook Messenger. And he said, they're all conversations in English. I made sure to delete everything. So without any trouble, they let me in. And as soon as I arrive, I start investigating. The first thing I did was try to make the tragedy go viral because it's much bigger than what the media can tell you. It's a huge tragedy, huge. And I said I can use my platform to alert the world about how terrible the emergency is here. So that's what I did. And that's when this guy Mikolo came along. He started defending Hugo Chavez. I started to show them everything, bit by bit, in the order I saw it. This building broke, this hotel collapsed. Japanese scientists investigated this soil and said it wasn't suitable for large buildings. I started to show all the corruption. Among them were these houses that were made with steel framing, which shouldn't have collapsed. Concrete collapses because it's rigid. The buildings are rigid and they're old and made of concrete. They collapsed. They didn't have the proper foundation, but these houses with flexible metal shouldn't have collapsed. So I pointed that out, that observation, in this video. And this guy came out to say that I'm attacking Chavez, and he's very insulting.
Diego Saul Reina Español went to show how Chavez's houses were poorly built. I told you, why do you only record Chavez's houses and not go to the resorts that were literally turned into rubble? I find it strange coming from you, Diego. Explain that to me. Why do you go after Chavez first? The luxury hotels. That's the private sector, right? That needs to be defended. You didn't go to help. You're saying, look, Chavez is bad. This is badly built.
After looking into it more, I realized, well, that he's bought by Chavez. The problem is that this person turns all the Chavistas in Venezuela against me. He's sitting comfortably in his armchair in Argentina. I'm not. I'm here in the field trying to do important research, and now I have to add that factor, the security factor.
These are his followers, and they started saying things to me like this: Motherfucker, you went to my country to criticize what suited you. I wish I had found you. Trash, son of a bitch. Damn worm. This is what Mikolo told them. Obviously, it's not true. This puts me in danger. Someone sitting on their couch in Argentina is making my investigation even more complicated because now his followers are being violent towards me. Even before I came and since I arrived, I received thousands of messages warning me not to speak out against the authorities because they would make me disappear. And I was prudent, cautious, and careful. But this guy didn't. He didn't stop to think. He immediately accuses me of coming to criticize Chavez. I want to believe he did that without realizing it, or without stopping to think that this puts me at risk, since I'm the one who's actually in Venezuela.
That's where things get complicated for me, because in order to talk to as many witnesses as possible, I have to tell them I'm going to be in a public place for several hours and announce it on my social media. That way, people come and talk to me, they give me their testimony. But it also exposes me to the fans of this guy who also put me at risk. Oh well, I'm going to be here. I announced on my social media that I'll be here until tonight. Let everyone come and give me their testimony. Well, I get to work, I continue. I try to ignore this idiot who does what his mentality and level of awareness tell him to do, defend Chavez. And I try to continue with my investigation. And I'm horrified to see that there are so many cases. The way I did the investigation is simple. I hired a driver and I go street by street. Sorry to butt in, there are more good people than bad, brother. And every time we see one of these tent cities, these groups of tents, I stop and ask who's in charge. And there's almost always a leader. And then I ask that leader if there's anyone here whose child has gone missing. And in 100% of the cases, they've told me yes. Then I ask if I can speak to the person. With the camera, they get intimidated, they get thrown off, but they do tell me, without the camera, without recording. And then they explain the procedure to me, and it's always the same. I can't describe how hard it is to talk to these families. When a mother who's temporarily living in a makeshift shelter asks you, did they take my son? I hit a wall of helplessness because that's as far as I can go. All I can do is take the father's report. So analyzing these cases, I realized there was a modus operandi. Everything followed the same sequence. Number one, they rescue a child from the rubble, whether the child is injured, has fractures, bruises, or was rescued from a collapsed building. Once the child is rescued, they are taken to receive help. Rescue teams, ambulance, or civil defense. Remember that almost 100% of all these rescues were done by volunteers. The government is not helping at all. So, these volunteers, once they get the child out of the rubble, They trust that the authorities will provide medical help. They are dehydrated, they are in shock, they have fractures, they have head injuries, bruises, everything. Well, they are taken away, but they are not told where. And when people look for them, they can't find them anymore. In some cases, they were told they're going to such and such hospital, and when the parents arrive at that hospital, they can't find them anymore. And there were many cases like that. So I started doing my investigative work. I took testimonies and wrote down the names and everything. I'm going to protect the identity of the victims because they asked me to please protect them. Most of them, don't want to appear on camera. And if I show you some testimonies anonymously, it's with the person's consent. I don't want to put anyone's life at risk. Right now, when you see this video, I'm no longer in Venezuela. I stored it in the cloud and left just in case they check my phone. And now from outside, from the safety of Mexico or Canada, I can edit and upload this video. But the people who give me their testimonies don't have the luxury of leaving here, so I'm going to do everything possible to protect them. Therefore, I'm only going to take their information and testimony, and I won't show you the interview publicly. It's a good thing I brought my friend here, who's a woman, and is helping me warn these young ladies. As a man, sometimes you don't connect well with young women, but another girl does. We're teaching them to take care of themselves, to be alert, to warn them about the danger that's out there. And if you're going to say, oh, so it's all made up, it's all a lie I made up, just search for it on social media in Venezuela and you'll find hundreds of videos. I, from here, from Venezuela, contacted the parents. This is real. It's not made up and it's horrifying. It horrified me from the moment I heard about it, and that's why I came to see it for myself, and it's exactly as it was reported. Rescued children disappeared, and I have at least one ad where they were put up for sale on Vinter. Well, after talking to the parents or relatives of these children, I realized that they all had a pattern. Their parents were caught up in the tragedy. Either the parents passed away, are seriously injured, are not in the country, or are not able to take care of them. This is mental health or addiction. Very few, only 2 cases. In all other cases, the parents are looking after other relatives, trying to save what little they have left, trying to recover their vehicle, trying to keep earning income. The child is rescued and suddenly disappears. Since I have nowhere to go to conduct my investigation, all I can do is walk the streets asking questions. I couldn't get anywhere. This is a failed investigation. I can't give you a name, an organization, nothing. I can only describe the modus operandi that all these cases follow, but I found out that this isn't the first time it's happened. It had happened before. The same thing, the same process. A natural disaster and disappearances. And not just in Venezuela, in many other countries too.
Let's be very clear. After major natural disasters, it's relatively common for some children to be separated from their families. This is due to all the chaos and lack of communication. In most cases, this is due to confusion and identification problems. This even happens in the most organized and developed countries. But there are also documented cases where certain people take advantage of the situation for child trafficking or illegal adoptions. That's what I came here for. Let me give you some examples. During the Haiti earthquake in 2010, there were documented attempts to illegally take children out of the country. This isn't a theory, this has been proven. Even American missionaries tried to take dozens of children who had living parents and didn't have the proper paperwork for adoption. In Colombia, after the Armero tragedy in 1985, some rescued children were irregularly put up for adoption, and decades later, there are still families looking for them. In Indonesia, after the 2004 tsunami, international organizations warned about an increased risk of child trafficking and illegal adoptions, and it happened. It's not a conspiracy. After the Nepal earthquake in 2015, the government tightened border controls and restricted adoptions to prevent child trafficking. After several reports, they started checking their borders. In Turkey and Syria, after the 2023 earthquakes, thousands of children were separated from their families, and the authorities implemented special measures to prevent this trafficking of minors. Even in Japan, during the 2011 tsunami, many children were temporarily separated from their families. But thanks to a very organized registration and response system that Japan does have, most were reunited quickly, and there was no evidence of a widespread problem, although there were some cases. Now, in the case of Venezuela, oh man, here they have no organization, no response, no registration system, nothing. And that's why, when I investigate all these family testimonies, I realize that all 3 are present. There's confusion because of the disaster and chaos, there's the lack of organization and government ineptitude, and there are also children who simply vanished in a very suspicious way.
So, I can't conclude my investigation by giving you a name and telling you it's this. I also don't have any evidence linking them to Epstein or to any other pedophile. The only thing I can tell you is that I do. I believe there is a group of people in the world who have money and have passports. And every time there's a disaster like this, they say, let's go get children. It's that simple. That's the conclusion I come to. Again, I don't have concrete evidence. Every time I make my videos, I show you documents, I show you videos, surveillance footage. I don't have all the evidence I could possibly gather in this case. It's only my belief after talking to about 30 families of children who disappeared under the same circumstances. That's my conclusion. But there's also the ineptitude and inefficiency of the Venezuelan government. So I leave with a lot of frustration, with a lot of helplessness, but there is still something I can do, which is the least I can do.
The least I can do. The least I can do.
I can't bring them candy without bringing a toothbrush. I can't just give the kids cavities. And I can't bring them a toothbrush without bringing diapers.
I can't bring candy.
Like I said, you can't do anything alone. How am I supposed to put 1,000 candies into different bags? You need help. A team, and Venezuelans are always willing to help.
I need help to carry all this and to pack it. So I'm going to call the big boss from Caracas. We look like drunks here in
The street with all...
our stuff.
What do we have?
What is it? What is it? What do we have?
What is it? What do we have?
Give me another one, friend.
Now we're good.
Now we're good. Now we're good.
Let's go!
Now it's night for the food.
Thank you.
Good, thank you. You have children here?
Thank you.